guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. Today we have an interview with Drew, the community manager of Clash Royale. You know him from TV Royale. We talk about a ton of things, and after we were done recording, we decided to split this up into two videos. Today's video is going to be talking about kind of 2020 lessons learned from Clan Wars 2. We talk about CRL and a variety of just other kind of random issues in this video today. Also kind of about the inner workings of Supercell a little bit into their teams and kind of how that all works when preparing for an update. Tomorrow's video, I hope you guys tune back in. Tomorrow will be part 2, dealing with the future.
Okay, so I found a glitch.
So what is coming in 2021 in terms of a roadmap, some really kind of broad goals that the team is working on. So without further ado, let's jump into part 1. Hey guys, what's going on? It is Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. And finally, I have Drew, the community manager from Clash Royale and Supercell on the line. Drew, welcome, man. How you doing?
Hello. Yeah, I'm good, man. Just looking forward to Christmas and eating lots of food. So good. How are you,
man? I can't wait too. I mean, I feel like it's a weird holiday with COVID and everything, but you know, spending some time with my close relatives, my son and stuff, and hopefully you're doing the same. Are you guys back working in office at all, like Supercell team, or are you still working remotely?
No, we're not back in the office till I don't know when. Like, we don't really have a date yet. So yeah, we're all still working remotely. We've actually got our new office opening in Helsinki. It should be next year, as in February. But again, we don't really know when we're going to actually be able to move in. But yeah, it should be pretty cool when we get back into the office. But yeah, for now, still working from home.
Yeah. And you know, before I have a bunch of questions I kind of want to get to, but I'm curious to start, I guess maybe on a personal note, if you're comfortable talking about it. If not, then I'll edit this out. So, Drew, dude, it has been a rough year. Right? First of all, I can't picture any community manager in the history of Supercell games going through a more challenging time than you've gone through, because you've been by yourself. You know, most other games have 2 community managers, at least the bigger titles right now. Number 2, COVID, right, affecting everything, not be working directly with the team on a daily basis. And then 3, having an update that, you know, at least from my perspective, did not land the way that you guys wanted it to in Clan Wars 2. So a lot of kind of community tension, I guess, mixed with everything else going on in the world. Dude, yeah, keeping it real. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. It took some getting used to. I think, everything you said, all separately is pretty bad, but then all together is oh no, kind of thing. But yeah, I'd say maybe the Brawl Stars changing to landscape was maybe a harder community management thing. Poor Ryan at the time. But
I don't know. I think you're being kind to what it's been like the last. Did you catch yourself at any point during the last, 8 months, whatever plus? Did you catch yourself? Did you find yourself really affecting your mental, just everything being even if you dropped a killer update, right? People would still hate it because people still hate everything that's new, no matter what, or some segment of the community, which I don't think it was a killer update, just saying. But even if you did, there'd be people hating on. But I feel like everything kind of fell on your shoulders, especially when Seth moved to the Clash of Clans team. And it's just well, blame Drew because he's the only guy that we can name on the team now. So did you ever find that at any point, in the last year? Did you have to have a gut check with yourself being dude, this is challenging,
Yeah, I think there was quite a lot of challenges within the team as well. It wasn't an easy update. We had some lineup changes in the team as well, which isn't always easy, but it's even harder when you're in COVID times. But yeah, I think there was quite a few times where I had to ring my marketing buddy Errol, who's the head of the marketing on Clash Royale kind of thing, and be yo man, did we mess up? Is because I guess it was just from stuff as small as releasing information too early, releasing videos too early and stuff like that, and we were kind of that had us second guessing whether we didn't make as big an impact as we could have and stuff like that. So there was a lot of stuff that kind of went into it with such a long development process as well. Yeah, it got a bit hard at times, but I think it's just it is what it is, and yeah, it's hard to describe properly. But yeah, I think on the team we were all we all had each other's backs and stuff, and I think also it kind of helps having your finger on the pulse of the community and you like, if you know it's going to be bad, like 2 months, like a bad reaction, like 2 months ahead of time, like you can kind of like prepare yourself. But yeah, it's always a bit of a challenge though. But
yeah, like how do you, as a development team, because it's obviously a small cohesive team behind Clash Royale, so you have this update that obviously people have been pouring, you know, their blood, sweat, and tears, their passion into for a long time. You know, initially probably some negative feedback, but of course you guys believed in this, otherwise you wouldn't have done it. So, but then how do you kind of reconcile, like at what point is it where you're like, okay, this was not a good update? You know, like, because I imagine you'd have, if I put myself in your shoes, you'd have the tendency to be like, okay, nah, it is good. Just give it a chance. It is good because like you believe in it, right? So how
that's exactly it. Yeah. I think like like as you said, like always whenever you release anything, there's going to be people that like hate it, and that's cool, and like that's totally fine. I think like when it was like I think kind of like the turning point was when like a lot of like the content creators, like including yourself, were like, maybe this isn't like the best thing they've done, and then I was like, oh man, like that's kind of like, you know, I trust you guys to give me like a very like fair like go before like judging that bad. And you know, like if like someone as positive as OJ is like, man, Clan Wars sucks, then you're kind of like, oh no.
Oh shoot. Oh crap.
So, yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like so that's the kind of that kind of vibe. But I think like there's also like, we do still believe it is like we set out to do what we set out to do kind of thing. Like we made Clan Wars and we got rid of the old Clan Wars and this stuff. So even if like some parts of it missed the mark, we still at least to like some degree did what we set out to do. Like it maybe just wasn't executed in the best way. But I think that's also why it's kind of like a bit easier to be like, hey, like we still like, this wasn't like a complete flop of an update because we had all these goals and we hit all those goals kind of thing. Like we wanted to make it so that people play with 4 decks and like we hit that goal, stuff like that. So there's a lot of different stuff that goes into it. I think like obviously it would have been awesome if it came out better. I think what would really suck is if we just released it and then we're like, all right, next, like on to the next like thing. But I think we're like, we've put so much time and effort into it, and it was always a plan that we wouldn't release it in like its final form. Like we would like keep developing and keep doing work on it. Like there's a whole bunch of server stuff that's been done that hasn't actually been like implemented into the game yet that we want to get in like in future updates. And we kind of built it in a way that there are like several building blocks that we can like work with there. So yeah, it's just I think one thing as well that is quite interesting, I think, is that the team was kind of divided a bit as well, which some of the team were like, hey, like this is taking ages and stuff, and like obviously like myself included, and then like the development guys and server guys like, what are you talking about? Like this is like we knew it was going to be this long and blah blah blah. And so like having that kind of like internal like communication mishap, I think between myself and like the devs wasn't like the best, because they were doing basically like a load of work that is like invisible to players. And obviously for a community manager, you can't really be like, hey, you spent 4 months of dev time doing stuff that you won't even see, because it's not really like, nobody cares about that kind of thing. And I think like if there was like a good way to kind of like reveal that, it might have been a bit better. But I still think like, because the dev cycle was quite long, it's kind of like,
I'm gonna ask a really dumb question, Drew, because like
go.
And this must infuriate, if you mentioned content creators, like when content creators give an opinion and it's just so far from the truth or just speculation, it must infuriate you or the team members. And something that like I really haven't banged this drum too loud myself, but I think it's a valid question. I'm curious if there's a good answer for it, or if there is, I don't know. But like, I think the community at this point, whatever, 10 years on, knows that the Supercell philosophy is these small, kind of very, very strong and close teams on these projects. But yet, there's obviously like a few bugs in the game, like the card thing, the leaderboard, whatever, that, still need addressing. And I'm sure you're reminded on a daily basis on Reddit about that, or Twitter.
Yes.
But like, why have you guys considered the idea of like hiring one more, developer or coder or something? Would that help, or is that really not the issue of just having one more body?
Yeah, I think like it totally depends. Like I think like, maybe in the case of like one more it might help, but I think like it's kind of very clear that like throwing bodies at a thing doesn't make it better, I guess. Like sorry to throw Cyberpunk under the bus, but you know what I mean, they've got like a huge team and still managed to release like a buggy product. Obviously it's way bigger than ours and I'm still really enjoying that game, but they have a lot of manpower and have put like thousands and thousands of hours into it, and it's still not perfect. And I think that's the thing, like we could hire like yeah, we could easily hire or even outsource, like, you know, to 100 people, be like, hey, fix all these bugs and stuff. But it's not like, I don't know, it just feels like that's not the way to like develop. Like, really, I don't know. It's always like a question within the team, because obviously we're the guys feeling the stress from like long dev time, and like this kind of like, if you work really long on like a project, you're like, and it flops or like isn't well received, then it kind of sucks, because you could have been like, oh man, if we had like 1,000 more people, we could have done it in like 2 months, and then it could have flopped, and then we could have done some more stuff. But I don't think the development would have been as good. Or like, I really believe in like the Supercell philosophy of like the smaller teams are better. Having worked in places that have lots of people, I don't think like having lots of people working on something will make a difference, to be honest. There comes a point where it's just like, hey, like this is how long it's going to take, and throwing people at it won't fix it. I think it's kind of from the outside, it's like very easy to be like, why don't they just hire like 10 more people?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but that's like, if you literally, that's like adding 50% to the team size, and even changing one person, like when Seth left the team, the dynamic of the team changed like massively, and that's just one person. So if you're adding like 10 new people, you know, or 100 new people, it kind of will completely change the way that we develop. And I don't think like that's the Supercell way, really. I don't think it would work. But
yeah, you're right. It is very tempting, especially as a content creator, just be like, dude, hire a couple more people. But at the same time, you hit so many home runs, and you're the leader in mobile gaming for also. So it's hard to deny your success at the same time. So I think it's important though to note that like we do have to like move with the times as well. And so like maybe in 2012, like you could do it with a small team, but I think like nowadays, like especially with seasons, we've been feeling it really heavily. Like the content treadmill was like really real, and so we utilize a lot of like outsourcing partners and stuff for art and stuff, and like our videos and stuff. So it's kind of like that kind of thing is important to do. Like we wouldn't be able to do all of this stuff just with our like tiny teams. We have to be clever about the way we do use like outsourcing partners and stuff. Okay. But yeah, I think like even within the company, we have like, even within the team, we have people who are like, hey, can't we just get like 5 more people? And then you kind of have to have that discussion. Like it's good to bring up, because I guess if you are getting like, you know, burnt out, or like you're feeling like the stress, you would just be like, why don't you just hire another community manager kind of thing? Like, but it's like, it's not that simple really. But it is a good question. It is a very, very valid question as well. So it's good to kind of know that even internally, some people are just like, yeah, we could use a little help. And others are like, no, I kind of like this system. So, you know, I have a million questions about the future, about 2021 and beyond in Clash Royale, but let's kind of close the book here on Clan Wars 2. Are you happy with where it is right now? Do you anticipate a lot more Clan Wars 2, you know, updates or content coming, or is it going to be kind of new stuff moving forward?
I think how it is now is it's in like a okay spot. It's not like great, but it's way better than it was when it first released. Like by saying it's not great, people are going to like click me and be like, he said it's not great. But I mean, like, you know, it's good. It's just not great, you know? So, I think like, the plan is to like keep working on it in every update next year, but not make it like the focus of the update. Like, I guess like, you know, like our November update.
Said every update, and I'm like, oh, every update's going to be great. I got you. It's going to be a little making it better. I got you.
Yeah. So I think like that's very important to still do. There's still a lot of issues. I think like fixing it for like the smaller clans was like a big thing that we wanted to focus on, because they were the people that would benefit the most from all the rewards and stuff. And so like we've kind of helped that along with the like lower like river race lengths and like fame boundaries and stuff like that. So yeah, I think like it's definitely not finished. Like we're still going to keep working on it. It just won't be like the main focus of every update. But I would expect in every update, the goal is to also have like a nice chunk of Clan War changes as well alongside the main content update.
Okay, so another one. Promise. Next question following this one's going to be about the 2021 update, but I wanted to ask quickly about CRL 2. CRL 2021 has been announced. It's a massive prize pool, 1.67 million, 1.6 million, 1.6 million. Basically, everybody's a candidate essentially, as long as you can push ladder. obviously, I think that you guys anticipated some blowback initially from pros, from pro players, because they don't have that secure income anymore. Essentially, it's kind of more of a crapshoot every month to month. However, there's more money overall, and there's more inclusion. I actually like this new system a lot better. But I also
I watched your video on it actually, where you went through and talked about it. Me and Seth watched your video, and we're like, yay! Ash likes it.
Yeah, Ash likes something. No, but like, yeah, man, I think it's way better. You know, it's just, but at the same time, I can see where people are coming from in the pro community, especially orgs and stuff. It's very unclear what the future of orgs in CRL, and you know what sort of reliable income or living people can make off of this. So is there anything that you can share to maybe alleviate some of those concerns by existing pro players or organizations, or just in general?
So I think so for a bit of context, like me and Seth have been working on this kind of new CRL since like December last year. So it's been like a year in the making, and it's kind of finally nice to get it all out there. But we had like a lot of these discussions early this year, kind of like taking away the salary from players and stuff. And then we were like thinking like one way that we really do believe that like we can help players here is by using the creator code. And like basically we're hoping that like if you're like a competitor in the new CRL, you might also find like that, like you might get a new fan base, and you might get like if you start up a channel, you might get like new viewers and stuff. So my plan, at least for like next year, is to give like anyone who's like serious about content creation and like streaming and stuff, and they are like a pro who qualifies for CRL, like to give them a creator code and like give them like a bit of guidance and help in like setting their channel up and that kind of thing. So, and like they get into the creator program and stuff. And I think like you can make like that can kind of be, it won't be like the exact same, but it's kind of like that's your salary replacement in a way. And then obviously you can like use the prize pool money and stuff to get more money basically. So we were thinking about all this kind of things. I think like for like the current guys who have had it like for the past few years, it does suck, like I agree, but I think like you just have to change your mindset. I think like Morton has been a really good example. He's like, okay, cool, I'm still going to play next year. He's like really putting work in and effort in on his channel and stuff. And I think like that's the right way to think about it. Like yes, competing all the stuff, but also maybe like you're a personality that people like, so maybe get content creating, and like Supercell will support you with that as well. And I think like like part of the reason that we wanted to move away from like this like enclosed structure was actually when I think it was like in 2018, me and Seth went to Dortmund in Germany for the Red Bull like MEO, and we saw Thunderstruck win, and it was awesome. We were like, oh man, this is so cool. Like this like 16-year-old like Scottish kid has like won this event kind of thing. And then it was just like nothing, because there was no way for him to get into CRL. Eventually he did get into CRL, but it was like a year later and stuff. And we kind of like felt that it sucked to, be this really skilled like player, like be able to win these competitions, but then not be able to actually like get into the official competition, even though you might be good enough. So we really wanted to make a way for like these kind of Thunderstrucks of the world to like get into CRL without having to like, be on a waiting list for a year, or be very unsure of the path they can take to actually get into competitive Clash Royale. I think that was a very important point for me and Seth.
Do you anticipate, like I mentioned this in that video too that you referenced, let's say I'm not going to compete in top 1000 or whatever ladder. So if I wanted to like sponsor players, would that be allowed? Totally,
so, like, man. Like that's kind of like what we've said to like the orgs. Like we're not like banning orgs from CRL. Like it's complete opposite. Like if orgs want to get involved, and like you said, like maybe like sponsor them, like give them like cash and stuff to like level up their accounts or whatever, or like pay them a salary and then you take part of their prize pool. That's totally cool. But I think like the difference is like we're not going to be brokering those contracts. Like we will be giving like players advice on like best practices, so they don't get like ripped off by any like shady orgs like you.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
But I think that's totally cool. We really want that to kind of happen, and we know like a couple of orgs are going to already be involved next year, which is really cool. They'll just be involved in a different way, and I think it's kind of like cool. Like if like say, yeah, if like you wanted to sponsor somebody, that's totally fine. And then they could just be like, wearing like a CWA shirt in all their streams and stuff. And yeah, I think it's really cool, and it opens the door as well to like these kind of smaller orgs might actually be able to like, like Clash with a queue and stuff could get into it and stuff. Like, yeah, I think it's that's definitely, we're totally open to that. And
that's cool because as you mentioned, smaller orgs just need a few players to a couple or one player really, but there's so many amazing kind of either smaller or kind of right on the cusp, like tier 2 mobile orgs that would love to kind of have an opportunity, I feel like, to compete.
Yeah, so and I think cool. that's like a really important thing for us as well, because we did kind of like weigh out the pros and cons of like this kind of like format, because yes, it does like seem like we're just cutting orgs out completely, but I'm hoping that we will still see orgs like in CRL in 2021 and beyond.
Yeah, and then it would be orgs, hopefully, like, again, thinking glass half full here, the orgs that would, like these, Vanguard, like some of these smaller orgs, they would actually be super passionate about the game and know the game versus like, I think it was hit or miss with some of these big, tier 1 orgs. Yeah. Some of them really did care and put out awesome content, and others are just kind of like, second class citizen, whatever, So that's kind of cool.
I totally agree, yeah.
Okay, so last thing on CRL is, you mentioned this in a tweet, but I just want to kind of reiterate, you're going to be super strong with terms of service violations on ladder. Obviously, like you can think of so many possible ways that people could, account share or win trade or tie trade or whatever, So you guys are just basically going to go through with a, fine tooth comb every month and make sure.
Yeah, pretty much. We had a chat with our anti-fraud team the other week, and it's all set up so that we're going to be checking the top 1,000 each month, like with a fine-tooth comb, as you say. Like, and then like the people that like qualify for like cash prizes and stuff will be like, under massive scrutiny. And there will also be stuff like, you have to be above 16 and stuff as well. And there's loads of other stuff that, we need to do just to keep it like legit. And yeah, I think that's like very important, like for especially like account sharing and stuff, because like, everyone knows account pushing happens, but I think like now we might actually see like a really nice like cleanup of the top of the leaderboards and stuff. And I think hopefully it can make some of these like account pushers like just play with their own account, and like, like they're all obviously really good players. It's like, dude, just play with your own account and like,
just need to
like
get them
an esports legend kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully we can just get them, again, through those sponsorships and stuff leveled up, because I think that's probably the issue with some of these guys. But is 2v2 gonna be part of CRL, or can you not share that, or is it not going to be?
Yeah, I can confirm that. Well, it will most likely not be in 2021, just because it's a brand new format already in 1v1, and we don't really want to like muddy it up with 2v2. Also, like the goal of this new esports experience was that what you see on screen is actually what you play in the app, right? So it was like, while 2v2 and like King of the Hill and stuff was really cool, like that those modes didn't exist competitively in the game, and it was kind of like hard to see that and relate to your gameplay experience in app. So at least for 2021, we're gonna like just focus on the 1v1 experience. Like we're gonna have it around like duels as well, which is going to be awesome. So I don't know if that info's been released yet officially, but yeah, we're going to have like duels as like the main format, just to reduce the RNG and stuff and like the matchup issues.
So duels after the top finishers move on to the
cool. So after the top finishers, it will be like a duel.
That's
format.
Awesome, because duels are great. They're the project.
Yeah, I think like seeing the All Stars games have really like proved that. It's been like that's been really really cool. I forgot what else you said, but
no, that pretty much touches on.